GBS Morning Extra. And today being on Friday, we are going to talk more about entertainment industry. We have two musicians who will be joining us later on. We have Autumn Jones, a secular artist, and Busy Boy, a gospel artist. We have a lot to discuss, especially what's going on in the gospel industry. We have a lot of beefs, a lot of scandals. Where did we go wrong in the gospel industry? Those are issues that we are going to be tackling in the coming hour, that is from 7. And Kevin, good morning.
Good morning to you, Tom.
Thank you for turning up this early.
Welcome.
Okay, we'll be discussing the papers today, and of course after the news, and then we get on. What do you have today in the sports?
Today is the kickoff of Africa Cup of Nations. Okay. And Harambee Stars, are they ready for Africa Cup of Nations? We're gonna discuss about that, and then you have to understand that World Cup, Women World Cup, last night Cameroon made Africa proud. They qualified for round 16, and then we're gonna sum up with international news from Manchester United. Their bid for Bissaka.
Okay. Yeah. And Copa America, of course.
And Copa America, yeah.
Okay. Who is your guest today?
My guest is Morris Shikanda, former Harambee Stars player, the national coach for Amputee team.
Okay. We are looking forward for that interview later on. Okay. Now it's time for news recap. And let's start with the Jubilee Party. Jubilee MPs allied to Deputy President, that is Dr. William Ruto, are now calling for Jubilee Party Parliamentary Group meeting to address the issues troubling the ruling party.
Calls for this meeting came as a result of Jubilee Party members raising serious concern over the state of the party's union. With President Uhuru Kenyatta's State of the Nation address due next week, could it be that the Jubilee Party members want to design a script for the head of state to avoid a repeat of Kasarani? Sources also say that calls for the meeting came as some anti-Deputy President William Ruto lawmakers began to threaten to impeach Ruto for openly contradicting the president and opening war on a government he serves. Vultures are already circling a rumor that Ruto's political career could be tabled on the floor of the august House through a motion of no confidence for impeachment.
Assembly. Because the Constitution is very clear. The power of legislation.
Siaya Senator James Orengo, a key lieutenant of the NASA leader Raila Odinga, had been quoted as alluding to take charge in the Ruto removal bid. Lawmakers calling for the meeting insist that it is high time they held the meeting, since it is crucial for uniting the Jubilee House that is on the edge of division. The politicians say they want a meeting held before next Thursday, when President Uhuru Kenyatta will be delivering the State of the Nation address. Uhuru is expected to highlight his government's achievements in the past year, his performance in the fight against corruption, peace and stability after his landmark handshake with Raila Odinga.
And now to the troubled Kenya Airways. The National Assembly Transport Committee has shut down the proposal to allow Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to take over the KQ and instead proposed that the Kenya Airways should be nationalized.
The National Assembly wants the government to take full control of Kenya Airways if the fortunes of the national carrier are to be turned around, in addition to Kenya Airways' incapability of running Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The House also suggests the establishment of an aviation holding company with 4 wholly owned subsidiaries, namely 1. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Company Incorporated to manage JKIA, Kenya Airports Authority, Kenya Airways as the national carrier, and a centralized aviation services college. While the resources of the aviation holding company and any revenue generated from such resources must be utilized for the mutual benefit and development of all its subsidiaries, all air navigation services shall remain within exclusive mandate of the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Some of the recommendations aimed at benefiting the airline include amending the Exercise Duty Act to exempt the aviation holding company and its subsidiaries from exercise duty onto all exercisable goods, including imported Jet A1 fuel for a specified period, and amending the second schedule to the Value Added Tax Act to zero rate all supplies made or received by the Aviation Holding Company and Kenya Airways. If the National Assembly passes the proposal, the National Treasury will have to buy off all shares from the shareholders, something that featured prominently in Kenya Airways' last annual general meeting. Emmanuel Ouma for Morning Extra.
And now crossing our borders to our neighboring country, Sudan, the besieged former Sudan leader Omar al-Bashir might be facing another ICC legal suit for crimes against humanity and corruption.
Sudanese citizens were treated to a rare spectacle as reporters jostled through police barriers to get a shot of Sudan's former strongman, Omar al-Bashir. Bashir was seen in public for the first time since his ouster. Bashir was taken from the Kober prison in the capital Khartoum to the prosecutor's office to face corruption charges.
Now is the time to act. Now is the time for the people of Sudan to choose.
Meanwhile, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Fatou Bensouda, is calling for the ICC to be allowed a chance to extradite Bashir so that he can face justice for crimes against humanity.
The circumstances have changed dramatically. The former status quo is over. Mr. Omar al-Bashir has been deposed, arrested, detained, and charged with domestic offenses. Two other suspects in the Darfur situation, Messrs. Abdel Rahim Hussein and Ahmed Haroun, are also reportedly detained in Khartoum.
As expected, Bensouda's appeal did not go without opposition. In his address to the Council, Sudan's minister representing at the United Nations, El Sadiq Ali S. Ahmed, told the Council that Sudan was not party to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court and was under no obligation to comply.
وهي كما تعلمون ليست جهازا من أجهزة الأمم المتحدة وبالرغم من تغير الواقع السياسي في السودان.
The chief prosecutor held her stand on calling for Sudan to be accountable.
Sudan remains under a legal obligation to transfer these suspects to the ICC to stand trial unless it can demonstrate to the judges of the ICC that it is willing and able to genuinely prosecute them for the same cases.
Sudanese Professionals Association, which led the demonstration that spurred the army to topple President Omar al-Bashir, said that the civil disobedience campaign would continue until the military council ceded power to a civilian government. At least 4 protesters were reported killed by military forces on Sunday.
And today we have a big story that we are following up. That's the president's tour to Eldoret to revive the former clothing giant, that is Caltex. We'll be following that later today. But we are now going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with the newspaper review. Meanwhile, keep tweeting #GBS Morning Extra.